Morning guys, let's get to it. Okay, so we've spent most of the morning cleaning up and getting some room back down here so we can actually move. If you look outside, the weather has turned to absolute shite, so there's not going to be any painting today. But what I do have to do is, this fender is the one that we patched the antenna hole up on, and that's all been seam sealed down the back and everything on the inside of the weld, so it's ready to go. Down in through here, there's no body work needed in the actual headlight bucket area, but on the one we had to take out the headlight bucket and weld it back in and everything, we filled in through there because it was wavy. It had all been hit down in there when the front end impact, and that was all wavy. So it now no longer has this seam. It also doesn't have these seams on the front here. So what I'm going to do today is get in and put a little bit of fill in through there. Not going to fill the whole thing, we're just going to fill the seams where the actual channel is, where it's been welded. We'll block all that out and then put a light layer of filler over the top of the fiberglass. There's the spot welds here, which are really heavy on the XKs. When you see them, they're really big divots and it looks really ordinary. They never lead wipe them. So we're going to go through and put some fill on them as well, so that'll end up getting a full skim after the fiberglass. This will just get the fiberglass in the seam there, sanded, and then feather it out with fill from there. And then we'll go back down onto the end where we patched the antenna hole, and that'll get worked with some filler in through there as well. Other than that, that fender is pretty well right to put primer on if the weather was good. So I'm going to pop yours up here, get some filler, and we'll start. Alright, so we've got a little bit of our fibre fill mixed up. We'll start and fill this channel. in. Made a mess. Making a mess. Okay, that's kind of ugly and ordinary, but it's in there. I'll clean this stuff up and then we'll turn it over and do the antenna hole. So because the weather's so miserable, this filler's going to take ages to go off. We're going to just work around in sections, and while we're waiting for it to go off, we'll get in and give this a key up where we've got to put the next bit, and hopefully by the time we get round it all, it's ready to start sanding. Okay, so we'll just wait for that compressor to turn off. There it goes. So what we've done is keyed up to get the metal green coating that was on there stopping it flash rusting off. So there's a keyed surface for the filler to go in. So that's where we put our patch in, and a couple of dark spots down here where we heat shrunk it to take the oil can out of it. So what we're going to do is fill from about there to the end and down over to just past the crest of that curve. It doesn't have a lot of recess in it, but it's enough that I want to put a light layer of fill in there. And we use fiberglass fill over the top of where we welded to waterproof it for the filler and everything that goes over the top. And along there is where the script badge was for the Falcon that Dylan's welded up the badge holes for. So again, we'll put a little bit of fill on there, a little bit on the patch that I welded in down there to get rid of that rust hole, and the same up here on the front badge. So we'll get that all mixed up and get into that. Give this a bit of a wipe down and a clean up. So there's no oily residue off my skin on there. And we'll get a layer of fibre filler on this one as the rain comes down. Now, at least we can do something while training. Body line on the front of this fender is actually really nice, so it's really only the spots that got welded up for the badge holes that need to be filled in the nose cone section of the scallop up here. Where this script was, that's a little bit wavy, and that panel was, so we might fill a block of it and try and feather it out a bit. And the lower section is a little bit wavy as well, so we may even drag the filler out over a slightly wider section there so we can block sand it and smooth it out. There's a few little nicks and dings up there which will show up when we start blocking the primer. So I'll just square fill that and we'll get into it. Okay, so I'll try and get this on as neat as I can, but I've mixed a fair bit up to try and get on as much as I can. So we'll just worry about getting it on the panel first. actually didn't go on too bad. Maybe I need to concentrate on just plonking it on and not overworking it more. Okay. Okay, that's probably the best attempt I've had at putting filler on a wall. I'll clean this up and show you what we've got. Right, so that's all filled and taking forever to take off. So I'm going to switch this one over here for the moment, so it can fully set. We'll pop this one back up and we'll start chasing all the pinholes on this one, so that way when we finally get it in primer, there's hopefully not too much that we have to chase and fix, and it's just a case of block sanding and priming. Right, so let's give this a shot and see if it's dry enough to sand. The weather hasn't helped us, but maybe. So far so good. So I'll let the compressor catch up and give it a shot. I'll get a face mask and we'll hook into it. Okay, so most of it's all roughed in. It's taken ages to go off because of the weather, so I'll try and get this couple of bits up here done and we'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so that's a really quick hit with the air sander, and it's still got a fair bit to feather out there and that, so we're going to keep hooking in, getting in there, and then just down there. So I'm going to turn the camera off because it's just sanding, and we'll show you when it's finished. Okay, so we've got all the fiberglass filler rubbed back. I'm going to get some polyester filler and chuck it on top of that, and we're going to call it quits. The weather's just made it too hard to get anything done today, and it's just taken forever to set. So I'm going to clean this bit of a mess up here. And then we'll get some hardener in this filler. See what we can do. That one. Now I've mixed a little bit of fiberglass resin with this filler again because it is starting to get a bit old in the pot. So it's a bit dried out. And if I can do this and get it to work, it should go on and hopefully not have too many pinholes, air bubbles. So a little bit more. do us. Okay. So I'm not sure which one of the I'll stick with the one I've been using. Let's see if we can get it on and have it work. Hopefully this goes on and we get minimum pinholes. And it lets us sand it all off nice and evenly. If I can get it on in the right spot, would help. So if I stay out of that now and not make a mess of it, hopefully that sits okay. Alright, so quickly move this up now while that's still soft. And we'll use the rest in this bottom section. Actually, we'll just get him up here. That was, yeah, not ideal. Oh, you idiot. We're going to have to let that piece there go off. Most of it went on okay, but there was a few bits that started to set off. So it's gone lumpy. Is what it is. We'll finish it off and it'll sand off. Just not ideal. Okay guys, so it's late and I've got somewhere I have to be, so we're not going to get it fully filled today. The weather has played hell with us, but we've got final fill on those sections and the front section, and we've got the top crown there all filled. We just didn't get around to doing anything in the nose, in the headlight bucket. So I've got to clean up. That's more of the same as I've seen it all before, so it's not really any point filming that. But turn the lights off. But yeah, so I'll keep going with that when I get a little bit of spare time. So whether that be tomorrow or not, I'm not 100% certain, because I'm pretty sure the kiddo's got a first cheerleading competition on for the year, I think it is this year, so that'll probably be that. But as soon as we've got some more progress, I'll get some footage and let you see. Again, thanks for hanging around, and yeah, give us a like, share and subscribe. Tripping over my tongue, and we'll see you next time. Bye.